Like, can't I just stop there? Like, if every time he gets asked about, like Kevin, the whole thing with him at the All-Star game was he got asked by, I'm assuming, national media about Scott Brooks, and boom, goes off the rocker. And Russell Westbrook has always been the same way. Local or national, anytime Scott Brooks' name is met. Now, it could just be talk because, they don't – it could be a PR thing. Could just be PR stunt. They just do that just because. That we're just going to back our guy. But are they honest about it? And if they are honest, then what are we arguing with the job security of Scott Brooks? Why do we even talk about it? Because he's going to stay.
Well, I think the reason we talk about it is what John Hoover said yesterday on our air. Because fans are emailing, and Colby Daniels said this yesterday, and it's true. Anytime he goes to a bar and the Thunder conversation comes up, the first question is, you think Scott Brooks should be fired? Or one of the first questions. That always gets brought up. So if the fans want to know...
So it's just a bar topic is what we're talking about.
Sure, yeah.
But
really,
that's
what a lot of media interviews are. They're water cooler topics that we ask the players because fans don't get a chance to ask.
All right, Des, you jumped in on this topic. Did you hear it? You kind of got, look at the new dude, too. Look at you. Man, you come in here all
so
fresh on
so
me.
So clean, outcast.
Look at you. Looking good, man.
Thank you.
Are you on board with that? Like, do you believe when Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, whenever they get asked about Scott Brooks, do you believe them when they are as strong and as outspoken as they are usually in their defense of Scott Brooks? Do you believe them? And if so, then why do we even talk about his job security? Because that would probably be enough, right?
I mean, you would think so, but it gives everybody something to talk about. There's got to be some kind of controversy when a good team is not playing well. When teams don't make the playoffs. And I think everybody knows that coaches are normally the scapegoats. GMs are last to go. That's when the owners step in, VPs, so on and so forth. But it gives everybody something to talk about because there's always speculation when things aren't going right. It's just what it is. But with Kevin and Russell, I think they believe in Scott Brooks. I mean, they played the bulk of Russell all of his career up until this point. Same with Serge and Kevin, most of it. So they really believe in him. But then also I just think they get annoyed of having to answer the question over and over again, not just the fact that is his job on the line, are you guys going to stay in Oklahoma City? What's going on with the team? Was it James Harden move a good move? Look how he's playing, blah, 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 blah. What, Kendrick Perkins, Jeff Green, was that a good move? It's just the questions get repetitive to those guys, and I'm talking from a player standpoint now. They get repetitive, and there's a breaking point. You either stop talking to the media or your answers become very short. As Kevin said, he's to the point where he doesn't really want to be a robot. Or you just explode.
What's at play there? Just start talking. Just I want to get your thought on the whole Kevin Durant thing. Just whatever angles you want to take on it.
I just think he got frustrated. I think
frustrated with what?
Frustrated with having to answer the same questions over and over again. He's been answering them all year. And I think he's frustrated with not being able to help his team with some of the injuries he's dealt with. I think he's frustrated and he's sick of hearing about Washington. I think he's frustrated with the way the team's playing and the possibility of them not making the playoffs. I think a little bit of it, him being, an alternate. A reserve. And the All-Star game played a little bit into it, and probably not as much as the other things. And I'm speaking as a player. It gets really old to have to do it over and over and over and over and over again. You just start to look for something fresh. You get All-Star weekend, you expect people to be kind of excited and joyous, and let's talk about what's going on in All-Star. Let's talk about my new endorsement deals or, the three-point contest with the Splish and Splash brothers or, all these different things. And the first question he probably heard was what's going on with Oklahoma City. And he's in New York. The media is not very nice. So, there was people that don't get the chance to talk to him on a regular basis probably are the people that rubbed him the wrong way.
Well, that's part of the discussion we had earlier that, I heard from a national media member yesterday that said, consider that maybe it's the national media that kind of rubbed him the wrong way. That really he's got no problem. He's got no beef with the Oklahoma City media, but that the national media just keeps on going on. Every time he sees them, they go on and on and on about either Brooks or what are you going to do, and all that stuff. And so that's why he chose the All-Star game as as kind of his stage. Is there anything to that?
No. I just think that Kevin's going to speak Kevin, and when Kevin speaks, he can speak from Oklahoma City, and it becomes international. It doesn't have to. Pick.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about the type of media he was talking to at that event.
Oh, well, that media. Again, I think it's more of having to answer the questions over. Now he has to answer them here. So to go to All-Star and that's always a player's getaway. It's to get away from the game, have some fun, and have a good time. And to go there and run into people that, again, they don't get to talk to them on a regular basis. They have tons and tons and tons of questions to ask Kevin Durant, but they don't get the opportunity to do it because he's here in Oklahoma City. It was their opportunity to ask those questions. And I'm pretty sure I wasn't sitting in that press conference or sitting near those interviews, but I'm sure it just got old after a while having to answer those same questions. And everybody has a breaking point, and obviously he reached his and he spoke his mind. I'm not going to blame him for speaking his mind, but I know that he's probably looking at some of the things he said and said, that's not me. That's not who I am. I've never been that person. But he justified it by saying that he was growing up, getting more mature.
Now, just your look there, just your look as you're saying that, just you look like you're like, what Kevin is doing here is just the look I'm getting from you is that this was not the real Kevin.
No, it's out of character for him, and I think he would say the same thing. I know Kevin, and I know how he functions, and I'm not around him on a daily basis, but we still talk, periodically, and we see each other, and we always sit and chat for a while. I know him, and I've watched him from afar as well since I've been out of the game, and it's uncharacteristic for him. We were talking at the beginning of the season where Scott Brooks blasted Reggie Jackson, calling a player out. It was uncharacteristic for Scott Brooks to do that, and everybody made up this huge deal of it, and then it went away. A week or two, whenever it gets old, there's new media, new things to talk about, it'll go away. But for right now, it's hot topic because that's uncharacteristic of Kevin.
I've heard this mentioned today. And I heard it yesterday, and I've seen it on Twitter. So just your response to this, Des, when someone says, this Kevin Durant thing, maybe Jay-Z's gotten in his ear. Maybe someone told him you need to have more of a mean side. You need to have more of an edge to you. What do you say when you hear someone respond that way to Kevin Durant's, I guess you call it outburst, whatever?
If you look at it, you look at Jay-Z and his career, and, he's from the streets and the Marcy Projects, and he went through a phase of street music. Then it was the button-ups. Then it was top hits internationally. Some were even on the pop side. Started working with pop singers, rock and roll producers, so on and so forth. And he kind of morphed himself over time until he got to the point where everybody was Illuminati, and he was becoming more and more vocal.
Right. As
time went on, Jay-Z became more and more vocal. He was more successful. He had the ability, and he had so much influence. He had the ability just to speak his mind. And who was going to say something? It was Jay-Z.
You don't need the media anymore.
Yeah, you say what you want to say, and it doesn't. You don't need that anymore. But is that a possibility? I'm not sure. I'm not in that camp. But you can see that Jay-Z, that was kind of a little bit of his path as well. He got to the point where, like right now, if Jay-Z decided he wants to speak his mind, he'll call up one person, speak his mind. They'll probably pay him a crap load of money to sit down and have an interview with him. He'll say any and everything that's on his mind, and he might get judged. But at the end of the day, who's going to stop him? He's Jay-Z. Just like Kanye West. He continues to get away with the stuff he does.
This is kind of getting into the conversation that Todd and I had yesterday on this, is that, and I'm not sure because you say that maybe he is far more modest usually than he was this past weekend. So I'm not sure which way to go. I was theorizing that maybe this was the real him. Maybe what you got this past weekend was the real him. And maybe what we've seen in the past is just a PR facade, that maybe, and if that's the case, and you tell me whether it is or not, but if that's the case, then all of us as media and fans that are mad at Kevin Durant, which I'm not one of them, but that are mad at Kevin Durant, we'd rather have fake modesty than genuine honesty. And that part just bugs me.
Yeah, everybody, When you have so much influence over, and it's not adults, it's the influence over kids. It's the adults' kids. That's where you start to pull at people's, heartstrings and so on and so forth. And when you have that kind of influence, you have to walk lightly. It's a light walk. You got to make sure that the things you're saying are quote unquote politically correct. You can't make mistakes. I mean, unfortunately, that is the way it is. But it's a good way to be that person. But at the end of the day, I'm going to track back to Kevin playing at Texas. What we've all seen up until this point has been Kevin. I mean, he's been that way since he was playing in college. Before he had all these people around him, he was that way when he first got drafted to Seattle. He was always, with his mom and his brothers and friends he knew from home and guys he met in college. It was all that. It wasn't a bunch of stuff. I just think sometimes players get to a breaking point. I think frustration kicks in and it makes you do things out of character. And I think what happened in New York was that way with him. I've seen players do it. I've seen guys snap. But, I don't think he's been fooling everybody this long, this well. I just think it was, a situation that he spoke his mind. And, again, in a week or so, it'll blow over and he'll say something perfect and everybody be happy.
I was Googling to see what year you won the slam dunk contest, Desmond, as we move on to happier things now. And I put in Desmond Mason in Google, and it auto-populates. And the first thing that comes up is Desmond Mason art, then Desmond Mason wife, because I'm sure you have a beautiful wife that everybody wants to see a picture of. And then the next one is Desmond Mason Matthew McConaughey.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Oh, my God.
Guess who started that?
Wow.
Guess who dug deep on that one?
It sounds like Matthew McConaughey.
It's all right. We
That's
started
exactly right.
we started peeling back that onion.
All right,
baby.
so Desmond Mason in his prime would have finished in what place in this weekend slam dunk contest?
He's going to say first.
I think this is my personal opinion. Fans have theirs. I have mine. And I'm very real. Vince Carter's the best dunker ever, hands down. Jason Richardson beat me twice. And the my third time, my last dunk contest, I think it was questionable. It was a questionable win. But this dunk contest, I think whenever I dunked, my dunks have variety. I mean, they were different. They weren't all the same. And the one thing that I can say about this dunk contest is, there's Levine. Between the legs, it's hard to do. It's not an easy dunk to do. The timing and behind the back is hard to do as well. But I can do them both. And
can you still do them both today?
Then I can do them both. Today I can probably still get between my legs. I can windmill 360 cup. I can do 90% of the stuff I did when I was young like that. Probably not that high above the rim like I was, but I can still do a good bulk of it now. But I think I would have had more variety, which would have made it, a good dunk contest. You got to count his dunks as they are. I mean, it's easy to get 50s when you ain't got no competition. It's easy to get a 50. I mean, me and Jason Richardson, we got 50s, but once our dunk contest went on, like we were doing 50 dunks that were getting 46s because it was true competition.
Right.
It's easy to give
the
somebody.
The scale was a lot different.
It's easy to give somebody a 50 when the person before you misses the rim twice and then finally makes a garbage dunk.
Yeah, they were giving 50 so early that some of there were better dunks later, and it was like, well, we can't give them any better than 51.
It was like taking candy from a baby.
Yep.
We need to have a dunk contest with Desmond Mason on a 10-foot rim and like us on an 8-foot rim.
Ooh,
that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
And see if we could,
that would everybody would totally make fun of us, Todd.
Oh, yeah.
But that's okay.
Like we care.
Yeah, we don't really care. I mean, they're like, look at them. Like, Dez on Timber. Look at these Nimrods.
Also, I'm going to need a trampoline.
They're older than Dez. And what's that?
Even on the 8-foot rim, I'm still going to need a trampoline.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should use trampolines.
No, because the fall is still from 10 feet.
Well,
I don't want the fall to be from 10 feet.
Hey, look, if we break our neck, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be good for business too. Very viral.
Half of the franchise will be in cash. You got Sam Mays want to ride a longboard. You guys want to jump off a trampoline.
Yeah, I saw Sam ride a longboard yesterday.
Can you see me going and dunking on an 8-foot goal and then slapping the top of the backboard and putting a sticker on it, even though I only jump like 6 inches off the
stick
ground?
up your face. Franchise 7.7.
That's good. That's good.
So good.
All right. Was there a question you were ever angered by? You were annoyed by, like with the media that you got asked over and over again? Was there ever a question you're just like, geez, all right, I'll answer it the nice way again?
It's a very generic question, and I used to get these questions. I mean, literally after most of the games, It was a couple of them on both sides of the fence. And it just annoyed me because I'm like, yeah, you got to have more substance than that. Come on, you got to give me something different. And I got to the point in my career where I would actually joke with the people that did it. I mean, I would just like joke with them because the question was so lame. And on the bad side of the situation, it was, so what happened tonight? What happened tonight? Like, I'm like, really?
What happened?
Yeah, so what happened tonight? I'm like, I played a basketball game.
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't play very well.
Yeah.
You know, and the other one is, you know, what do you credit your performance to? Making baskets. It was so simple. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I got to the point when I was
My mama
older.
and making baskets.
That's exactly right. Well, to see how the Supersonics were drafting me and then trading me and then bringing me.
I just started getting coached in sports radio not that much long ago, really, just about 4 years ago. Even though I've been in sports radio for 10 years, so I'm guessing the first 6 years I probably did this all the time. But now that I've been taught not to do it, it annoys the living bleep out of me when it does happen. Is the talk about. Talk about the game tonight. Talk about like how about we ask something that actually ends with a question mark.
Talk about the game. Like, do my job for me.
That's right. Yeah. We just need really a quote. Talk about no. How about how, what, where, why? I mean, the whole explain what happened.
Yeah,
like, come on, no, I'm not gonna no. We played a game, we lost. Even something as simple. Would it bother you less if I just asked it a different way? If I did, instead of explaining what happened, if I just asked it, why do you think you lost tonight? Would it change, or would you still be annoyed?
No, I would much rather answer a question like that because to me that is, tell me what was some contributing factors to you guys losing the game tonight, not what happened tonight. What happened tonight? No, like why do you think you guys lost the game tonight?
Just making sure.
Yeah, I would much rather answer that question. And again, after a while, it just got to the point where you just knew it was like they didn't have anything.
You turn your head sideways.
They just didn't. They didn't have anything. Right. It was like, damn, he stole all my questions.
Was there any question that you can remember, whether it's about a player, a coach, where they asked you about someone else in that locker room, and you just want to say, why don't you go ask them? Did that happen often?
I did. I said it all the time. If they say, Gary Payton looked like he got a little upset tonight with the referees. Can you, what was that all about? And I'm like, hey, you might want to go ask Gary.
Go ask Gary.
That was what I did. Or like if it was ever controversial, or if it was ever where that was kind of always your go-to, it's like you might want to go ask them about that. You might want to go ask the coach about that because they asked about the coach. Well, I saw that Paul Westphal and Vin Baker had a little tiff on the bench. Is that is there something going on? Is it, what kind of explain what was going on the bench? It didn't really look like it was a happy bench. Well, you might want to go talk to Vin and Paul about that. I wasn't down there. I wasn't part of it. I kind of keep it moving.
Damn media.
But the media is, man, listen, the media is good. The media is, it's a.
Don't patronize.
We
know you're full.
Wait,
of
hold on, Zach. Let's get completely silent. Let's let him say that again so we can save it and play it back.
Clip that out. Go ahead. Start over.
The media is a love-hate relationship.
Oh, a little different now. A little different.
It is.
What happened to us being good?
The media is always good to me. I can't speak for everybody else, and I was always good with the media.
Yeah, maybe we should go talk to them.
The media was a love-hate relationship for quite a few people, and I think everybody can see that. And I think the media feels the same way about some players. Because there's some guys you get that really lame generic answer, and you I know he got more.
Well, yeah. You said, Desmond, that as a player you just get tired of hearing the same questions over and over. And I always tell people, as a media member, you get tired of hearing the same answers over and over.
I can get it, but I tell you, if you go and you look and you just try, good reporters, good media, they're creative, they have a personality, and players like to talk, they joke with the play. I mean, they have a good time with what they do. Even if it's a bad game, they still get their point. They get their questions out. The players answer them, and they have a good rapport with the players. Those guys always get the answers. They always get a good interview. But then you have the others that they're there to do their job. They kind of hate their job, but they do it. And everything is just, everything is very, very generic. And as a player, even if you lose a game, you don't have a problem with having a conversation with the media, at least most. I think it's the way it's approached. And players walk lightly with the media, and it should work the other way around as well.
All right, what we're going to do today is we did this before. We gave you some examples, by the way. If you didn't hear us in the last hour, we gave some examples. We were teasing this earlier, Des. We're going to do our Des lists again. It's kind of a spinoff of, the hashtag Ask Des. But there was a lot of times where those Ask Des things turned into lists. We were asking Desmond Mason for his starting five or something, Like, give me your starting five on your dark alley team. Give me your starting five. What were some other ones, Todd? Give me your starting five of nice guys. Give me your starting five of
guys that should have been in the league but weren't.
Yeah.
You played with.
So if you've got any of those, and they don't have to be five, just get make a list. Basically, ask Des for a list of blank, either inside or outside of sports. It doesn't matter, and we'll do those in a little bit, and we'll. We'll also talk about Oklahoma State basketball as well. All right. All coming up next on the franchise. I believe. Let me set up a. Okay. Let me go ahead and tease this for the grand finale today on 107.7 The Franchise of the Desmond Mason Show, brought to you by
Urban Johnny.
That's right.
My daddy.
Urban Johnny's Grill and Bar. Midtown, right next to Deep Deuce, right next to Aloft Hotel. Beautiful place. Probably going to be my place of choice, unless somebody would like to sponsor us to watch March Madness, because they've got TVs everywhere. I'm very excited for March Madness.
Zach and I have already taken off the Friday of March Madness, Desmond.
That's right.
So
Oh man.
don't plan on coming in that day.
No, Thursday we'll do our
In fact,
thing.
Thursday night, you're more than welcome to come out and have a beer and watch some basketball with us.
Thursday night.
Yeah,
We're
if
gonna
you
be
want to
out
hang out with
somewhere.
some media hacks that don't know bleep,
Yeah.
Thursday night's the night to do it of March Madness.
Tell your wife you may be late getting home at night. She's probably gonna have to watch the kids, but we're gonna go.
She'll say, "How was it?" And you'll go, "They didn't know bleep."
Yep, they don't know bleep. All right, so anyway, coming up, Des reads excerpts from 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, what am I doing?
I went and saw that over the weekend, and so we had Kelly Gregg do it yesterday.
How was that?
He was fantastic, really. He was just fantastic. You got
I get my voice ready.
Well, in the
You-
middle,
that's right, you
in the
gotta
middle
get
of the
Dr. Love
paragraph
ready.
with Kelly Gregg, you got, "Oh, why am I doing this? I can't believe I'm doing this." And he just kept reading.
They kept going. Just kept on
I'm gonna
going.
probably laugh.
Last
He's a
movie
team
you went
player.
and saw with the wife, Des.
Man, it was with the kids actually. So, what it was? Gosh, I'm blanking right now. Planes, I think it was Planes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Todd, you went and saw Gone Girl, didn't you?
Well, I didn't go and see it, but I watched Gone Girl over the weekend. Last one I went and saw was American Sniper.
Yeah,
Really?
I saw that.
Really uplifting. That was like the saddest date movie ever. It's a great movie, but it was really sad.
So anyway, that is all coming up here. That is
my
all
God.
coming. All right, so you just got back from New York, right?
Yeah. Last night. Yep.
What happened there? Did you have a little exhibit there?
Yeah, I had my art exhibition. It was awesome, man. Had a great showing. Had Malik Yoba he sponsored it from Empire and a bunch of other movies. Got a chance to see some players that were there, just some old players I hadn't seen.
Oh,
Felipe
really?
Lopez shows up. I hadn't
Felipe,
seen Felipe
Lopez. Wow,
in
blast from the
forever.
past.
Yeah, Felipe was there, and it was a exhibition called Athletes for Art. So I highlighted that exhibition, and I had the chance to do the New York Post. The
That
interview
was awesome, man.
Yeah, it turned out so well. So I met the editor that wrote the story and gave me that cover, and it was just a fun time. And I had to see it at the event, and I have to say this, I thought it was absolutely incredible. I've seen a couple of artists do it before, but to see it in person is pretty awesome. They had a $400,000 Rolls Royce. It's not a Phantom, and I can't remember the name
It
of it.
doesn't matter.
Rolls Royce.
$400,000 Rolls
And a
Royce.
guy, I think I put it on Instagram. I Instagrammed it. A guy was drawing on it with Sharpies at our exhibition. Yeah, so it was. They had him set up right.
Turn out all right?
Man, he killed it. They had him right in front of my work. They had my work up high, and they had this Phantom. It's Rolls Royce. It's not a Phantom. I can't remember the name of it, but they had this Rolls Royce 2-door, and he just had these massive Sharpies, and he was literally drawing all over the side of the car. It was pretty cool to see though, because it was street art, graffiti style stuff. Event was great. New York was great. The energy in the city was phenomenal. If you hadn't been in New York, you got to go eat it. Italy, ridiculously good. It's like a grocery store / 5 restaurants within a grocery store. Really, really good. All kinds of food, all fresh, Italian. But it was just fun, man, to be out there blistering cold. But, I'm very honored to get that post and, had a bunch of interviews while I was out there as well. And it was all about art. It wasn't really about basketball, which is, it's the way I like it now in my life.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Anyway, back to basketball. No, I'm just kidding.
The weather there was like total record cold, right?
I mean, it was
like in the negatives.
It
right?
was ridiculously cold, man. It was unbelievable. And it wasn't bad getting around the city. Everything was over near in Brooklyn. So if you were like in Manhattan area, which is where we were, everything was. We can get around pretty easy, but it was cold. Walking. We I took our son and my wife took our daughter. We took them to some plays. Went and saw Aladdin and Matilda.
You brought the whole fam.
Yeah, and it was crazy cold though, man. I mean, I hadn't felt that cold since Milwaukee days. It was cold.
Inside the United States, is New York your favorite city?
No.
What is?
Yeah, I love Seattle. I have to say it. I love Portland. Portland is a great city. I'm not a big city guy.
Did you like Milwaukee?
I love Milwaukee. Milwaukee, actually, it was.
I've always thought Milwaukee's really underrated.
It was between us moving. Was between here and Milwaukee. I mean, we were fortunate. We could have lived in a lot of places, and it was between. And it was tight.
What made you choose here? Closer to your parents?
No, I mean, because my parents they could get there. I mean, it would have been still fairly close, but it was just a community. It was a business opportunity with the city, and it was booming at the time. And to come back and conceptually the things that we had with the Bar 3 Studios and my art. To be able to and bring them to this community that supported us and, come back and just bring something special back to this place was more that our kids wanted to be back in their school, our church. It was just a lot of strings here. In Milwaukee, we had a lot of the same things, but, we knew the platform here and the people here and our friends here and Stillwater and so on and so forth. We would, it would be just a really easy transition. So that was the reasoning.
All right. I want to ask you this because, I mean, I don't want to bring the show down, but you've mentioned this guy before, and he's been in the news recently, but Anthony Mason, who had the heart attack. Can you tell us a good Anthony Mason story?
Ooh.
Yeah. I can.
Yeah, the look on his face was like, I sure can.
I got multiples with Anthony. Let me see. I got to pick the best one now. Man. It's, one, that's so unfortunate because he's actually a really good guy if you get to know him. He's crazy. I mean, we all know. He's a tough guy. I mean, he's a tough guy. But I remember when I first got to Milwaukee, we tangled up under the basket. So they had to put the D and the A Mason on the back of the jerseys. It was like high school.
Oh, yeah.
And we got tangled up under the basket. And he kind of turned, he looked at me. He's like, I like that. I like that. He's like, we got to be related. We got to be cousins. Like, you got to ask your dad if he got family in New York. And I'm like, if you want to be my cousin, man, you can be my cousin. Me and you, we cousins. we cousins. So the good Anthony Mason story is we're playing New Jersey Nets when they had Kenyon Martin, Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson, Rodney Rogers, all those guys. And we got Gary Payton, Sam Cassell, Tony Kukoc, me, Michael Redd, Anthony Mason. So I'm in the game with Mace and Mike Redd, Tony Kukoc, and Kenyon Martin and Tony Kukoc get into like a little tiff. Kenyon Martin is, quote unquote tough guy. Tony Kukoc is not. So we're at the free throw line, and it's literally like I'm sitting here, and it's Kenyon Martin has been just talking trash all game long, won't shut up. Mace don't really say nothing, he doesn't jump out there. So it's on the free throw line, Jersey shooting, Anthony Mason under the basket, Kenyon Martin next to him, I'm next to Kenyon, and I know Kenyon really well. Across was Rodney Rogers and Tony Kukoc, and Kenyon Martin is yelling back and forth while the guy getting ready to shoot free throws at Tony Kukoc, calling him all kinds of bad things. So then Kenyon, thinking that Anthony Mason was just going to kind of laugh it off. He looked at Anthony Mason and he's like, man, why y'all got this soft dude on your team? Y'all got this soft European player on your team. Anthony Mason turned and looked at Kenyon Martin and he said, you better shut up talking to me. Don't say nothing to me the rest of the game. And I was like, uh-oh, here we go. Kenyon Martin looked and didn't say one word.
Really?
Didn't say one word. And I was like,
yes.
You ain't tough, boy.
Nice.
You think you tough. You ain't tough. And so I knew then Mace, I was like, that's probably a guy you don't want to mess with. But he would buy you a drink. And if you're like, nah, I don't want another drink, man. I'm cool, Mace. He'd be like, you gonna drink my drink. He's like, all right, I guess I'm gonna drink a drink. Well, I'll have what you having.
So he was intimidating.
I mean, okay, never mind.
We're
not just on the court either.
Well, we're in Milwaukee, right? And so it was funny because a lot of the players had furs, I mean, the guys, wives, everybody. I mean, it was just like it was blister coats. Everybody's wearing furs. To see Anthony Mason in a black fur, it's like meeting a giant.
That is
I
good.
mean, he is
great.
huge, dude. He's crazy.
Well,
though.
and the other thing, people with Anthony Mason, I think people thought of him as like this bruise around. That dude was super athletic and super skilled for how big he was, too.
Dude, I hated Anthony Mason. I was a Pacers fan. I still am.
I'm gonna tell you,
He broke my heart as a Knick.
I'll tell you exactly who he reminds me of. Just not as offensively talented, but some of the things that he does in this game and his athleticism or lack thereof, for the most part, is Zach Randolph. I mean, he would box you out, and the ball would literally just fall to him because he knew how to use his body. He was a great passer, really crafty around the basket. Couldn't really jump up and dunk it too well. He can get it in, but he couldn't really dunk it too well. But he had great hands, great passer, knew how to use his body, and that's Zach Randolph. Zach Randolph's not very athletic, but
I can see that.
he just knows how to use his body. Now, Zach is much more talented offensively than Mace was, though.
All right, let's do our list coming up, and 50 Shades of Grey, reading by Dr. Love. All next on the franchise. I want to start with this here. This is from ESPN, the magazine. I guess they're doing a story on Andrew Bynum.
Wow.
And this is just an excerpt from it. Their would-be star was a hazardous fit, sometimes even literally. One day, memorably, the rehabbing big man parked next to Aaron Barzilay, the newly hired director of basketball operations for the 76ers, in the parking lot of the team facility at the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine. As Bynum shuffled inside, Barzilay noticed something on their would-be star's custom black Ferrari and called after him. Bynum, it turned out, had driven away from a gas station without removing the pump's nozzle, an 8-foot rubber hose, which he dragged python-like through the streets to get to the facility.
Man, that's
Hazardous.
Andrew Bynum, man.
That is fantastic.
It's ridiculous.
All right, let's get some music going here. Let's do some Ask Des here. We got some good ones on the text line, 88474 here.
Oh,
Look at this.
Mace.
All right. Let's see. Ask Des, top 5 people you would want during the zombie apocalypse. Top 5 people you would want during the zombie apocalypse.
Anthony Mason might be one of those, right?
Yeah, I feel like this is our dark alley team again.
Top 5 people.
Oh, I know one right now. I hate to answer for you, but
I'm gonna say my family, my kids and wife.
Oh, see, now nobody thinks about that.
I would imagine you'd want Robert Swift for the arsenal you could get out of that
and
deal.
then I want a sharpshooter. I want a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Tons of ammo.
Would be good.
So who you going with, Boki Nakbar if you want a sharpshooter?
Boki Nagmar.
No?
Oh, he just dug up Methuselah.
Let's see here.
My favorite one was top 5 ugliest guys you've played with.
Am I answering that?
Yeah, go for it if you want to.
You know what? No, I'm not gonna answer.
All
that.
right.
I'm gonna move on. I don't want to crush my boys.
I got this on Twitter. As Des top 3, he just put 3 stinkiest guys that Des played with. Who stunk? Come on, you can play with or play against.
Play with or against? Okay. One of them was Ilgauskas.
Zadrunas
Ilgauskas, and then I played with one. Peja Drobniak.
Yeah.
And then Sabonis was another one.
There's something to that Euro stink thing, isn't there?
Man, it's not.
Those are all Euros.
A lot of them. I'm gonna be honest, man. You know, whatever it is, it's cultural, whatever. But a lot of them don't use soap.
Yeah, they don't care. Yeah,
they wash, but they don't use soap. That was Drobniak he would get in the water, rub around with imaginary soap, and walk out.
That was it.
It's like, what was the rub around for? You just basically got rained on.
Here's one on the text line. Top 5 guys that would have the most groupies waiting on them at the hotel.
Ooh, good question.
Top 5 guys. Most. Guys kill me.
Yeah, come on.
I would have to say, and some of them I didn't play with, so I'm gonna make an assumption. I would have to say Kobe would be one.
I knew you were going to say Kobe.
Yeah, I mean, he's the most. I mean,
He's fine. Well, and you ran into that in the elevator too that one time.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, guys, that would be waiting in the hopes of. Kobe would be one.
Oh, okay.
I would assume that LeBron would be one. Gary Payton, especially back in the day. Who else could I say?
I know. Look at his face, Ty.
D-Wade.
Was there a guy?
He's got some in there that he's not saying. For
Was
some
there
reason.
a guy that you're like,
Come on.
man? How does he have so many groupies?
Yeah, most surprising groupie.
It was the NBA.
Everybody had groupies.
It was like most guys. You'd be like, there's no way you're supposed to be with that girl.
All right, I got one for you.
No way.
Wait a minute. No. We need to pry here.
Okay.
Because he's got some. Come on.
I'll give you my last one, but it's hypothetical. I would say it would probably have to be Russell. With the fashion and the whole thing, I mean, I would assume that would be the case.
No, you've seen it.
No, I have not. I put that on everything.
Come on.
No.
He's guessing Russell. That's a good guess.
No, I'm saying hypothetical. I mean, I could
Good
get
assumption.
all good players. Let's put it that way.
Well,
All right, here's one for you. We'll just do top three. Top three guys that you played with that would walk around with the most cash money in their pocket.
Oh man.
Ooh, I've got one. I got another one that is like that. Go
Gary
ahead.
Payton, Moochie, Norris, and Vin Baker. Hands down. Not even
Did you ever
close.
play with Mikey Moore?
I played against him, not with him.
I once saw him have a wad in the locker room where I was like, what are you doing with all that money? Like, put some of that in the bank or something.
I was on a plane flight from Seattle to Dallas to play the Mavericks, and a craps game broke out on the plane. Remember, huge planes. You can swivel the chairs where they go. You have this big aisleway, and it was $75,000 plus in cash on the floor, in cash money.
Ooh, man. I ever tell you about the full weekend that I had with Charles Barkley? I had a full weekend with him once.
I couldn't imagine.
And I'll give you I could go on and on, but the one story I always tell is he gave me his credit card. We were at a casino. He gave me his credit card so I could swipe his credit card for him while he hung out at the bar with some ladies. So I could go over to the casino cashier and get it swiped so he could get out $100,000 in chips. He had me do it.
That's crazy.
And they wouldn't let me just give the credit card to the cashier. I had to go over to one of those swipe machines and get a receipt.
And come back.
Now imagine typing in 5 zeros behind a 1 and being very afraid that, I want to make sure I
that
don't
one
type it
extra
a 6.
zero is,
That was
a
like,
big difference.
you want to talk about bizarre. But then it came back declined. And so he had to call up his manager. He's like, my credit limit on this card, what's the deal?
That's crazy, man.
And so
Here's
he got it up to
I
like
lose
30 minutes and then back at it again.
I lose 100. I'm out.
Woo!
Here's
No
one top, and you can do 5, top 3, whatever. Top things you cook on the grill. You mentioned the chicken piccata the other day.
Well, yeah, that's the
Not necessarily on the grill,
but
but how about just top things you cook? You got to make a meal for somebody.
oh, bolognese, my bolognese sauce. It takes about 5 hours to cook it. It's got veal, pork, and beef in it. It's got Italian wine in it, so it's a good one. My bolognese sauce, obviously the chicken piccata, and we'll do one grill. It's ribs. Baby backs. My dad taught me how to make our family sauce and the whole thing. So
Oh,
baby back
you got
ribs,
the
yeah.
sauce too.
Yeah,
Look at
you gotta have the sauce and the marinade right.
All right, I got one for you. Top 3 most superstitious guys you played with.
Sam Cassell was one.
What was the superstition?
He just didn't want any, if anybody was nervous around him, he would tell them, get away from me. He even told the coaches, get away from me. You're making me nervous. Like, he had to have it lively in the locker room. He was always joking, always playing, but that was his way of doing this thing. Olumide Oyedeji in Seattle. He would always, he had this little ritual before, how he put his shoes on and so on and so forth.
I thought Jobu was going to be involved there for a minute.
But he sat right next to me, so that was one. And then I was pretty superstitious as well. I always changed jerseys at halftime.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I changed jerseys at halftime.
Why?
I don't know. It was just my thing. One, I didn't. I mean, we all sweat, but I don't know. It was just this thing I did. I would change at halftime. And then also I wouldn't drink anything. I couldn't drink during a game. So they used to give me like gummies so I wouldn't cramp up. I just couldn't really drink. They used to force me to drink. Yeah, I couldn't.
That is bizarre.
My stomach, I felt like it was sloshing around in my stomach when I played, and so I just had to be completely nothing.
All right, the Saucy Sicilian tweets in. Ask Desmond Mason the top 3 most frugal players with their money that Des played with.
Well, you know what? It's a lot of European players are like that, but Brent Barry was one. Brent Barry was very conservative guy. Vladimir Radmanovic. There was times that he flossed a little bit, but a lot of times, I mean, he was a Euro, so he was. I'm trying to think of one maybe out in Milwaukee. That was a good one. I mean, Keith Van Horn.
Oh, yeah?
Keith Van Horn was one as well. Yeah, he was a big one.
That one, for some reason, does not surprise me.
Keith Van Horn had to be frugal because if people knew what he was making, they would have, rethought life.
Yeah, he stole about $25 million. Just armed robbery.
This is an interesting one. Ask Des top 5 rock and roll bands of all time.
In my opinion?
Yeah.
My opinion, Metallica. I love Smashing Pumpkins. What's another good one?
I like Smashing Pumpkins.
Iron Maiden. I'm trying to get back as far as I can because I didn't really listen to a lot of rock and roll. So I would say you got to say U2.
That's good enough.
But the first 3 I listened to a lot growing up. So.
All right. Should we make the switch here?
One more. In that same vein. 3 songs, you're on a desert island. 3 songs you got to take with you.
Oh, good God.
Brian McKnight, One Last Cry, because that's all I got.
You're going slow jam on a desert island?
Dude, I mean, what are you going to do? Jump around and waste your energy and dehydrate yourself? You're going to die anyway. I want to relax.
This is like pre-funeral music.
That's exactly right. Wonderwall by Oasis.
Oh, that's my favorite song ever.
Man, I'm right there
Really?
with you
That
on that
song,
one, man.
yes.
I'm right there with you. And then...
well, then, if that's the case, then End of the Road by Boys and Men probably has to be over there.
I'm good. I'm good. One last try. I'm gonna say that one for last. I don't know. I'm a man. I don't know. That's a tough one, man. I'm a South music guy. Mind playing tricks on me, Ghetto Boys.
All right. So that'll do it for Ask Des today.
Oh my God.
Yeah, let's get our music going. This is our 50 Shades of Grey music. So if you don't know what the premise of this is, I went with Lady Easy on Friday. This was we did our Valentine's Day stuff on Friday night instead of an actual Valentine's Day. Well, she wanted to go see 50 Shades of Grey.
Whipped. Sorry, I didn't know my mic was on.
Literally.
Clear my throat.
Yeah, literally.
That's right.
Yeah, you don't know what happened when we got back. Anyway. The Whisper Zone. Anyway, so I was not familiar with the book. I mean, I had heard about it, but I was not familiar with the book when I walked in there. Nor was I familiar with what I was about to get myself into. But I got familiar. Real quick, and my wife was like, "You think this is crazy? You need to read the book." I was like, what better way to read the book than have athletes read the book to us?
Oh my God.
So Kelly Gregg did it yesterday, and today it is Desmond Mason's turn. Which story are we doing? Which short excerpt are we doing here? Which one's the first one?
The Kinky comes out.
What comes out?
The Kinky.
The Kinky comes out. So here is, we're going to do like 3 of these, Todd. All right?
I got to get my mind right.
The Kinky
I
comes
thought
out.
he said Winky at first.
Me too. Me too. I was like, huh? What came out?
Captain Winky.
Like, well, that's not leaving much to the imagination.
So here is Desmond Mason, a.k.a. Dr. Love, reading The Kinky Comes Out from 50 Shades of Grey. Go ahead.
I got to get the beat just right. Suddenly he grabs me, tipping me across his lap. With one smooth movement, he angles his body so my torso is resting on a bed beside him. He throws his right leg over both of mine and plants his left forearm on the small of my back, holding me down so I cannot move. He places his hands on my naked behind, softly fondling me, stroking around and around with his flat palm, and then his hand is no longer there. And he hits me hard.
Yes! That was fantastic.
I feel so creepy.
Oh, that was so great. That was so great.
Oh, Mom, I'm sorry.
Oh, come on. Hey, look,
Forgive
she
me.
enjoyed that. She enjoyed that.
Oh, hey.
It's a good book. It's a good book. No, that's all I'm saying is it's a good book.
I'm going to believe in my mom. My mom did not read 50
All right, let's do it. You don't think she
God.
did?
Yeah, well, I'm going to think she did.
All right.
Oh, my God.
Well, I'm just going to go straight off title
I'm
here.
glad my kids are in school.
How about we do how about we do baby oil butt rubs?
Baby oil butt rubs.
I'm a big fan of those.
Hold on, let me get back to that one.
That's like 2/3 down the page. Oh, I'm sorry, 1/3 down the page.
Oh, gosh. Give me a second. That was my fault. I screenshotted the wrong one.
It's like 4th from the top. Would you screenshot?
Yeah.
We'll
so I
take a
can
quick
read it
moment
off
to
mine.
remind you that this
Okay.
hour with Desmond Mason brought to you by Urban Johnny.
Yeah.
My
Look,
daddy.
you even got an audience now. Kara came in and said she,
Oh, my God. Okay.
she wants to
here we
hear
go.
what's up. Turn
Oh,
off your
God.
mic so she can hear there, Todd. Just make
All
sure. Yeah. Here you go. Got an audience here. This is the Baby Oil Butt Rubs excerpt of Desmond Mason reading 50 Shades of Grey. Go ahead.
Okay, I gotta get the beat right again. There we go. Sitting beside me, he gently pulls my sweatpants down, up and down like a horse draws. My subconscious remarks mentally. You making me laugh.
I'm sorry.
In my head, I can tell her where to go. Christian squirts baby oil onto his hands and then rubs my behind with careful tenderness. From makeup remover to soothing balm for a spanked ass. I can say ass.
Yes, there you go.
Who would have thought it was such a versatile liquid?
Yeah, versatile liquid. Versatile liquid has been called. All right. How uncomfortable are you? Scale of 1 to 10 right now.
I'm starting to sweat.
All right, he is.
sweating.
Look, he's flushed out here.
gosh.
He's flushed out.
You know what'll fix that? Baby oil.
Baby oil will fix that.
It's gonna make you sweat more.
All right. So he's walking out of here a new man, a changed man.
All right,
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Desmond Mason. Good job. Thank you for being playful. That was
Oh
very
my
good.
God, totally sweating.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you.
Kara's got a question for you after you leave, too.
Here we go. Look at her. She's fanning herself. And by the way, Thursday, we'll get back to your comfort zone. I'm bringing in a new canvas for you.
Totally sweating right now. It's ridiculous.
This is what happens when I don't have a canvas.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we got to do other stuff. All
was
right.
fun.
Good
Oh,
job,
man.
buddy.
That is
We'll
good
talk to
stuff,
you.
man.
It was
So
fun.
fun. So
Desmond
fun.
Mason reading 50 Shades of Grey.